Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Cigars and Everything Else podcast, episode 11. And in this episode, we like to call this the Ghurka episode. Let me give a little back history on this. There's a few brands we've been kind of tough on, Perdomo being one and Ghurka being another. Recently, Denzel smoked the Perdomo on a previous episode, and I smoked the Perdomo on another episode. We figured, man, we were a little harsh on them. Not a bad cigar at all. So we decided, let's revisit Ghurka. The Ghurka episode. Now, we also discussed the re-release of different television shows and different movies from the original ones, trying to bring those back in the modern day. And that becomes a big part of the conversation also. But make no mistake about it, the Ghurka found its way as being the star of this episode. You don't want to miss what we have to say about this one. This was a good one. I'm not going to hold you. Let's get into the Ghurka episode. Welcome to the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. This is episode 11. We're glad to have you back. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Double digits.
Hey,
we got the 2 ones.
Yes, sir.
Number 11 is the Ghurka episode. We've been talking about it for a long time, so it's time to get into it.
Yeah, we said we're going to do it, and we here we are. Here we are.
Yeah. Hey, it was a long journey to get to this Ghurka episode. And not just the journey of actually building up the nerve to actually have to do it, but for me, it was a long journey finding one. I don't know about you.
Right.
How was it in your area actually locating a cigar?
It wasn't hard for me because, like I said before in past episodes, I've seen the displays already. As small as they have been, I knew the spots to go to get it. So it wasn't much searching. It was more so of finding out or finding the ones that we wanted to go ahead and test drive today.
Okay. What was your choice?
All right, so I'm gonna be straight up and honest with you. I went ahead and took your recommendation. So you threw out some names, some numbers, some ratings and stuff. So I was able to find one of the ones that you pointed out, and you pointed out the Ghurka Cellar Reserve 15 years.
Okay. That
now,
sounds good.
You said that you found out it was rated a 99.
Mm-hmm.
It was rated a 99 based on what you told me. I saw it, my eyes lit up, and I said, oh, this is the boy that was the 99. So we're going to see. We're going to put this one to the test.
Okay. Now, that's good. Now, when did you buy this? Just so for reference points, so the people who listening will know how long that this cigar has been in possession of the actual stores, the shop, so they know that it's not a lot of human error, hopefully.
Hey, less than 24 hours ago.
There we go.
Less than 24 hours.
So as long as the shop's doing their job, and transit is doing their job, and the manufacturers is doing their job, we supposed to have a 99 rating today.
We're gonna see.
We should break records on the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. This should be the top rated cigar that either of us have smoked yet. So far, what, a 4.7 is it?
No, I gave the Liga the T52 a 5.
Straight 5. Okay.
I gave it a straight 5, remember? But then also saying it can come down some depending on future cigars, and we're gonna base it off of that too. It's fluid. So far it was a number 5 for the Liga. But we're gonna see if that can catch up to it. If it can knock the Liga down a couple notches, if it blows me away, it could possibly bring Liga down a little bit.
Okay, I ain't mad at that. That's I can't wait to see what happens with this. Now, for me, like I said, it was a little bit of a journey for me. The cigar shops in my area, they have given up hope on Ghurka. Alec and Ghurka, where are both of you? You know what I'm saying? So Alec still, I'm gonna tell you, I tried a different shop in my area yesterday after going on a run trying to locate some Ghurka. And this shop actually had Ghurka and Alec Bradley in them, but they were in like these little sample packets. Okay. So it was like a pack full of like 10 cigars you had to buy, and you could get a Ghurka in the midst of that. But to have an exclusive dedicated shelf area, no, they didn't get no shelf space.
It's
was
a
like one of
package
those
deal. Only
impulse
way to
buys in
smoke.
the front by the register. It was
Right.
just like a little rack and plastic bags hanging up.
It's like,
It
let me
was,
try this real quick. Let me try this little sample pack.
yeah. This is
Okay. Okay.
for I don't know,
And,
it don't
and
look good for them
personally,
on mic.
yeah. I'm saying personally, that's not the look I would take if I'm going to give a cigar a fair shake. Not to buy it in a sample pack. Package
Right.
as it is from the manufacturer. You know what I'm saying? In a box of cigars. That's the only way to really judge a cigar fairly. So I can't fault you on that at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't feel like that's the best way. And that's all of that's cool if you're an up and coming cigar to get next to some of those
Yeah,
bigger names, because they had the
yeah,
Oliva V in there. The V series is good. So they had
yeah.
some
And
solid
and that's
cigars
worth
in
picking up,
those.
right?
But if you are one of the big boys,
A
allegedly one of the
season,
big
yeah,
boys,
a seasoned name.
yeah, a seasoned name that we all know, regardless of your popularity amongst aficionados, your name, you got name cachet, and that's all
Hmm.
that counts. You don't want to only be located there. You know what I'm saying? If
Right.
we get a
Only that I
burning
can find this in the
cigar
sample pack.
off the ground, put me there, but you don't
Yeah,
want to
put me
be
in the
there
sample
as
pack.
Ghurka, who's called the Rolls Royce of cigars.
Yeah, and that's something we need to discuss. I think it was actually Bentley of cigars, right? Was it not?
I looked up something today that said Rolls Royce. So I don't know.
So
Maybe they calling
we
them
talking
various things.
Bentley
I don't
and
know.
Rolls Royce. We talking real luxury right here, high end, high class.
Right.
We're gonna see if we're gonna get a high class smoke out of this bad boy.
Hey, you got some big shoes to fill if you either a Bentley or a Rolls Royce.
Fact.
But I never stated mine that I had. So I
Okay,
have
what you got?
a Ghurka pressed
Okay.
1887, established 1887. Is that so, Ghurka? That's what I have, and I kept my promise. I'm pairing it with some bamboo, with some
Oh, you got
fresh
the
squeezed
bumble?
lemonade that me and my son made here right before the show.
Yes, sir. Hey,
Yeah,
that's a match made in heaven for me. If you want to ask me, that's it right there. That's the go. So pallets
yeah.
already going to be set nicely. So you can set your palate up nice with a good pairing. As far as your beverage of choice. For me, I'm just going with a little bit of moonshine in a can, a little apple cider, apple pie ginger moonshine. A little something light,
Okay,
because I didn't want to do anything that's gonna shake up my palate too much. So just something easy. I can
okay.
focus on the smoke and really get a good gauge of what I'm smoking here. So we got something light, something easy. Gonna give it the best shot as possible.
All right. We're gonna go ahead and get ready to clip and get started.
All right,
I was
man.
telling you before the show started, man. I forgot my when I didn't forget, I couldn't locate my torch. So I'm on matches today. So
Matches today.
hopefully I don't embarrass myself on the IG live as we record the podcast on the side. Hopefully I don't, but
Hey,
you want
impress
to
us,
see a
man.
funny moment, go check the video. It'll be
Check
up.
the video, right? Yeah. Hey, you might get lucky. You might get lucky and get it in one or two matches.
Well, this is what I did for myself. I did myself this justice. I said, well, if I'm gonna have these matches to deal with, we'll go ahead and pull out the cedar spill. I can get
Okay.
this spill lit a lot
Right.
quicker with matches than I can get this cigar. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna take my luck with the cedar spill and give Gurkha a fair shot. So,
Okay.
but before I start lighting this, I guess I need to cut. I can't. What I'm working backwards. Straight cut, regular old
Straight up.
straight cut. I was feeling traditional today. I picked up the V and I set it back down.
Okay. And no surprise to our listeners and viewers. Back with the straight cut. I was gonna switch it up today, but the cigar I had
Yeah.
picked up has sort of a torpedoed end, not a traditional torpedo end,
Okay.
but close to it. So I was like, you know what, we got to go straight today. That's the only true way to go ahead and get the cigar cut, just off the way that it's tapered at the end.
The way that cap is. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna jump into this. Hey man, I got a question for you also, man, regarding
Yeah.
this bamboo and lemonade.
Hmm.
Ever since you figured that little mix out, man, we've been on this little mix, man. We got to come up with a name for this.
Oh yeah, man, for real. I mean, everybody got their, you know what I'm saying, their traditional mixes and names that, you know, that are synonymous with certain drinks. You know, you got, of course, Moscow mules and Manhattans and all of these like nice little things. I mean, I think we really got something with that. Like, it's really a classic mix. It's really, really smooth. Like, it really marries and pairs very well together. You know what I'm saying? Something we need to go ahead and put a stamp on that one. Can't be giving out free jewels.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. I have to keep thinking on that.
I mean, can you think anything that it pairs better with?
Better? Kind of
Mhm.
hard to say. Kind of hard to say.
Like we talked about before, I enjoy it straight. You know what I'm saying? I mix it with
Yeah.
quite a few things. Of course, you know, throw a little Coke in there. It's rum. Coke and rum always goes good together. But like, I really can't say I found anything that pairs as nicely as that lemonade with it.
Yeah, because the vanilla Coke or just Coke in general, you know, that's always traditional. What you blend, what you mix with your rum.
It's a rum, yeah.
Known for it, they're perfect marriage. Nobody complains about it. Goes good with this bamboo also. But at the same time, this lemonade give it a whole nother twist, and
Mhm.
it's smooth. It's smooth. It's even smoother. I don't know, man. It's tough, man. It's tough. Outside of saying Coke, I don't really know. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
don't even know if the Coke is really a better mix than this lemonade goes with it.
And to be honest with you, I haven't seen or heard anybody else mixing those two together outside of ourselves. So
Made you try it? Just all you had?
it might have been. One day I might have had some lemonade from Walmart and said, "Man, I want to mix something with it. Not that I need to, but I want to mix something with it." And then I might have just had that in the refrigerator and said, "Let me just go ahead and splash this." I mean, and I was in a mixology phase at one point, you know, a couple of years ago. So I was trying out a lot of different things. You know, I got head out, went and bought all the shakers and all the you know, what I'm saying, the mixology stuff. I don't want to get my
Yeah.
mixology in. And I was in a experimental phase for a good period of time. So it could have been something that just fell in that phase, or it might have just been something that was just in the refrigerator at the time. Put it together and it's like, bam, that's it.
Yeah. Um, my initial thoughts right off the bat, this hit my palate right away, man. Like a
Okay.
leathery, oily type.
So we got some initial thoughts already.
Yeah, because that leather jumped out real out in the front, man. You know,
You
normally
know
I don't
what?
speak on it until we get a little ways in, but it was
Right,
so
right, right, right.
potent. Like,
I'm thinking, okay, we did say that we were gonna smoke the same cigar, um, which we weren't able to,
right.
but that might be something to think about because I'm kind of getting the same thing. I'm kind of getting a lathery, not lathery, but leathery texture and taste to mine as
Yeah.
well. Like off the first couple puffs here, so that could be something that's Gurkha's known for. I can't say that I know that for sure, but I can say that based on what you're saying and what I'm getting,
Yeah.
you know,
And
it seems
I gave it a fair
pretty
shot because
pretty
I
standard.
put the spill on it, you know. So this is
Mhm.
what it honestly is, you know. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe
there's
that's
no,
why
there's no
people
beef
hate
in anything.
it.
And you know what? Even if it doesn't stay there, like we're gonna walk the journey with it. Even if it doesn't stay there, like is that something that you want a taste of, like right off the bat
No,
whenever you do smoke
no.
your cigar? You know, same thing like we talk about with the peppers. Like, of course, we don't want a lot of peppery taste with our cigar, especially all the way through, let alone just in the beginning. But what kind of sells you on that cigar is the fact that you know it's going to transition throughout the smoke. It's like, okay, I can deal with this pepper in the beginning because I know how good the cigar is going to be down the line, you
Right.
know. But like, it's that leathery taste enough to say, you know what, I can deal with this for right now until I get to that second, third.
Well, see, even in the conception of your cigar, why would you start off leathery? You know what I'm saying? Like you build a stuff like that. You ease a person in. When I get on a roller coaster, I don't start at the top. You know what I'm saying? We might start working
Right.
our way to the top,
Well, yeah, yeah.
but even then, that's a process. Like, you know,
I'm at the top, baby. I got leather in my mouth right now. Like I'm at the
Is that
top.
when you want to start that? You want to get there, right?
Let me get there. While I'm
At,
already
at
done, I've
least
taken a journey, and it's just another part of the journey. And I
part of
got
it.
my
Like,
drink
okay,
already.
yeah, and I can see that. Like, all right, so we get off to a good start, a nice, smooth, easy start off that first puff. Maybe get a little bit of leather. That's the ride up, and then take me through the thrill. You know what I'm saying? After you
Right.
get through that tough phase, which is that leathery taste. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Like,
Right.
I'm not wowed by it just yet, but I'm gonna hold my judgments all the way to the end.
Yeah. And I don't know how much is picking up on camera for you, but I got a lot of smoke coming off of this too. Very, very full smoke wise.
Okay.
Burns very well, but yeah, that leather, and maybe that's a little bit of an oak coming in
Hmm.
up underneath it also, kind of in the mix. But yeah, we jumped right into describing the cigar right off the bat. Gurkha, I don't know if that's a good thing or what, but you come out swinging. I give it to you.
Coming out swinging. Yeah. Most cigars that we pick up that we usually lean towards, kind of either we know what to expect that's gonna give us some pepper, but we know we're gonna chill out, or some just kind of blend in right with the environment, right with the moment,
Yeah,
and just ease into it. And then we start getting those tastes, and things start really popping out. Like so, it might not be good to pop out immediately as we're smoking. You know what I'm saying? Right off the cap, like you got to work
right.
through it.
And this could entirely be preference. It could be preference, but I
Yeah,
do like to
yeah,
kick my feet up a little bit and get comfortable in my environment before I have to go be social. Like, and
right.
this cigar has got me right in the party and everybody like, hey, come on stage. And I'm like, I just
Like, whoa,
walked
whoa,
in the
whoa, whoa,
door.
wait,
Let
wait,
me
wait,
check the
wait,
room
wait.
out. Like,
Yeah, let's gauge
you
everything
putting
real
too much
quick.
on me right off the bat. But we gonna take the journey. Maybe this is I'll get used to this or something. And you know how like they say drugs, they have like downer drugs and the ones that the up this
Yeah,
must be like an up cigar or something, man.
it's
It
an offer.
just
It's an offer.
yeah, it's an upper man, take you straight up. Like
Which floor we going to? You know what I'm saying? Straight to the top
right.
floor.
You take this to the Coke party and get right. Like with everybody else, you just right there. You right at the Coke party with the Gurkha cigar, man. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Hey, man. So I was watching an interview. Nas was doing an interview, and I thought it was real
Hmm.
dope. I don't know if you heard about this. I haven't included you in this just yet. Uh, but he's coming out with a cigar line.
Is he?
He is. Well,
I
not maybe
mean,
not
he
a cigar
should.
line. He said he's coming out with a cigar. So not a line. I can't say a line just yet, but he did say a cigar.
Yeah.
So
He
I thought that was
should. He
real
should.
dope.
He's been an aficionado for a long time. You know what I'm saying? He should definitely. It falls in line with his brand. Like
Hmm.
I read Ross's new book. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I had some credits on Audible, so I didn't read it. I listened to it. I'm sorry, but I listened to Ross's new book, "Perfect Day to Boss Up," and he
Yes.
talked about how he bought Holyfield's house, and he talked about how Holyfield couldn't afford it, and he said, what would I do to not make the same mistakes Holyfield did to end up in a position where somebody buys my house foreclosed? Because he said
Yeah.
Holyfield put 20 some $1 million into the house, and it was towards the tail end of his career before he finished investing in the house and ended up
Hmm.
retiring shortly after and couldn't
Right.
keep up with it. Ross buys the foreclosure from the bank for $5 million. So his words were, he said the only thing I can do to make sure that I don't end up being Holyfield is to hustle a little different from what he did. He said Holyfield
Hmm.
was making moves, but he was making moves that didn't fall in line with his brand. He said he
Right.
should have, instead of being doing like fast food commercials and having a record label, you were a guy who was known for being healthy, one of the in shape professional heavyweight champion of the world, who
Hmm.
was a church guy. You should have been having investments that fell more in line with your religion and your health regimen and things of that nature. So Ross was just saying he said, I'm a fat boy. So he said, of course I got Checkers and Wingstop. You hear it in my
Right.
music, but it
Right.
makes sense for what I do. I got a beard line. I'm known for my beard. So he was making
Yeah,
those
so he got
examples.
rich. Yeah,
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 so Nas
got
is
that rich
doing
hair.
something that falls in line with his brand, is cigars, and he got the partnership with Cognac, with Hennessy. So I like that
Yeah,
move for him.
true. Yeah, I forgot about that too. Yeah, he does have the Hennessy thing. You know. So
Hey
yeah, with
man,
that cigars,
I
the
want to
whole
say something.
Escobar.
I want to say something about Nas real quick, man. I
Mhm.
slept on Nas as an entrepreneur, and I talked a lot of mess about Nas in the early 2000s about not having his business together.
Yeah,
Props to Nas, man. Props to
yeah,
Nasir Jones for his business, man. His acumen has gone way up
way
over the
up.
years,
Well,
man.
you know what? I will say this that I did hear in it might have been like a documentary or something like that, or it could have been another interview. Where he did say that early on in his career he was lazy. You know, it was times
Yeah,
where
I've
he
heard him say
he
that.
wanted to just do his own thing. He didn't want to get in the studio as much as other rappers on that time. He didn't want to get involved in all the advertising and you know what I'm saying, branding and stuff like that. So I did hear that early on he was lazy in his career as far as those extracurricular things. So I'm pretty sure now he's seeing the moves other people are making and understanding the power that he actually has as an influencer, as a
Right,
you know what I'm saying, somebody who is a top tier artist who's been around
right.
for what, 30 years now. And it's like, you
Yeah,
know what? I have to use what I have and put it into something. You
yeah,
know, and he
yeah.
started to do that over the last what I say maybe 10 years, 5 years or whatever,
10, 15
however
years.
many years.
Yeah,
Yeah, 15 years or so. To
yeah.
where he's really picked up steam and having that kind of influence, you see like, hey, him putting that influence behind what he's doing
Right.
really picking up traction because I'm hearing that he has his hands in a lot of different things, all the way from crypto to restaurants to now cigars, the Hennessy like you mentioned, the
Yeah.
clothes. Like he's really moving around.
Dropbox, Ring, the door lights.
Right, right,
Also,
right.
what else was it? It's another big one that he was involved in. Not just Coinbase, which was huge, but
Mm-hmm.
dog, I was just on the tip of my mind. But anyway, man, yeah, he's doing a lot of big things, man. Oh yeah, it's a YouTube channel, man, that puts out a lot of content. Was it Complex? Is that who he's with?
Really? I don't know. I
Is
don't
it
know. I can't
Complex?
say I
It's
know.
some might be Complex. I think he's part owner in Complex. You familiar with
Okay.
Complex
Yeah,
magazine
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
the brand? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Complex, man. I could be saying it wrong, but if it's not them, it's something on that level. So
Okay.
man, he's doing his thing. But I tell you what, he's doing the correct thing for a rich, lazy person to do.
Yeah,
He took on the role as an investor.
yeah.
Brilliant.
Big,
You
big,
don't
yeah.
have to sit around and run the day to day. I put my money up, and then from there, I let it talk, and it earns
Yeah.
me my money back. So
Right.
I'm glad whoever inspired him or whoever got in his ear and started kind of playing mentor to him, man, they did a great job with him,
Great
man, because this
job with it.
guy is
Yeah.
running with the ball,
And
man.
then really that's all it takes is coming to that turnaround point of realizing, hey, I can make moves just like you said with Ross, what he was talking about, moving along with your brand and stuff that ties along to you. Once you do stuff like that, all you're doing is you're just being you, and it's not work
Yeah,
to be you. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Once you have that realization that I can make money just being me or doing things I'm interested in or I believe in, it makes it easier. You know, it's just that simple, really. You just
Yeah,
keep pushing
without
it.
a doubt. Without a doubt, man. Hey, look, man, it's so many people in the world and we have so much access to people, man. There's no reason
Hmm.
not to be able to make some money off whatever you do. Like, for those who may listen to the podcast and don't know, like Denzel does jazz music. And I always tell
Hmm.
him about his jazz music. Hey, look, man, it may not be as popular as some of these other genres, but there's a market for it that you can be able
Right.
to just earn whatever you want to off of that, man. And it's as simple as that, man. I mean, I always joke around with them and make the comparison. Or what I call it, Brussels sprouts. And I was like,
Right.
man,
Right.
you not selling steaks and chicken, you selling Brussels sprouts, but it don't mean that people don't buy Brussels sprouts, man. And
Right. There's a
yeah,
market for it. It's on the shelf in the grocery store for a reason because people are picking
yeah,
it up. People are
people picking it
buying
up.
it.
So and it's the same thing for whatever anybody that our voices reach that hears this. There's a market for you to make your money doing whatever you want to do,
Yeah.
or pushing whatever your brand is or whatever your interests are. There are gonna be millions of people just like you that's interested in it, man. That's why you
All you
get
have
all
to
these
do,
little weird cartoons and stuff. I look at anime, I think that's the weirdest thing in the world. But look how huge it
but
is.
you got a huge community that, you know what I'm saying, that goes behind it. You know, they
Yeah,
can't live without it. They really support it. You know, it's a huge world with that. It might not be the world I'm in, and it might seem small from the outside of where I'm at. But if you go
right.
into that world and you see how many people are down for it and they swear by it, they know everything, all the ins and outs about it.
Yeah,
You know, it's always a community for something that you're doing. Because if you're one person who's interested in something, I guarantee you there's 10,000 other people who are interested in the same thing,
right.
just spread out. And what our technology allows us to do is make what's so spread out, the whole world, so much
Hmm.
smaller. You know, all
Right,
within our phone or within our laptop, we can bring the whole world into this one small place in our ecosystem.
all
It's
right.
like,
We can
and
find
when
each
you say,
other with a search engine. You know what I'm saying?
right,
You're one search engine away from your community. You know what I'm saying? Just get out there and look it up.
and, and
Bing,
that's the
Google, whoever
advantage.
you with.
Yeah, that's the advantage that we didn't have 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. But like when you told me that, like it clicked for me when you was like, hey man, stop trying to sell Brussels sprouts to people who want, you know what I'm saying, burgers.
Yeah,
Sell Brussels sprouts to those who want Brussels sprouts. Like it clicked and it made sense. So it's like, you know, not being only into jazz music, but wanting to do jazz music, you know, being a rap artist too and a producer too and all those things. It's like, all right, well, I can find a community of people who really enjoy this style of music. I don't have to have 5 million people subscribe to it. I just need a small number, a smaller number, just a community of it, of people who clamor for it. And I have
yeah,
started to build that up and find those people slowly but surely.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. You
I'll
find
get
them
a
in your
message here
niche.
and there. Yeah, I'll get a message randomly here and there. Hey, man, this sound like I love this sound, and this got me through this and whatever. And it hits you like, wow, this is why I do it. And you never know who's gravitating to it slowly. You know, you
Yeah,
start finding that community, you know? And like you said, you're just one search engine away from finding that community.
yeah. It happens, man. And like you say, you sent me a message the other day where somebody was talking about how how your music gets them through stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really to that point, man. And like it's literally I think I sent you like a lo-fi channel one time on YouTube,
Hmm.
and she
Yeah.
just streamed. Well, they just streamed their music the entire time. The one with the little girl. Anybody that listens to lo-fi knows the little
They
girl
know it.
channel on YouTube. So that channel, it really opened my eyes to, wow, man, it's just like a giant market of people out here who just want to hear chill music. They just want to
Hmm.
relax. All of that turn up and stuff, man, they ain't not into it. Like
Right.
they just want something easy going and they can relax to. And I even mentioned to you, I think it was last week, I was saying I learned about this thing called ASMR or RM or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
whatever the
Something like that.
acronym is. It's just people who like listening to random, like people will whisper and it helps them go
Hmm.
to sleep listening to people whisper and talk. Or they might have soft sounds of the background of a city. Or some people
Hmm.
have like a barber shop playing softly in the background and just sounds in a barber shop. And that's their whole channel. Their whole YouTube
Yeah.
channel is just playing soft sounds so people can go to sleep. Giant market for it.
Right. Right.
Giant market that's out there for people. Like I do an improv show for Spoon Radio, this app. And on Spoon Radio, they are starting to expand on that lane because it's a lot of live streams. People do live streams on it, podcasts and random talks, and they want to get into that because people are tuning into the streams that do the little ASMR or whatever it is, and people just want to relax, man. People stress
Yeah.
nowadays, man.
Right.
Like
But the
people
crazy
want to
thing is, like
chill,
you would be you'd be tricked into believing that people only want one thing or a couple of
right?
things, like
Because that's what's getting all the attention in
all
mainstream.
attention. Right. Right. And just the realization of it to say, hey, nah, there is this that exists. And then when you see the smaller following of it, you realize, you see, even though I say the word small, it's still not small in the grand
Right.
scheme of it, because it's still several thousands to millions or whatever. But it's
Right.
just the fact that
It's a
we're led to
secondary
believe, yeah, it's a
market.
secondary market, but we're led to believe that that's such a small number because it's not doing,
Right.
60 billion views like a Bruno Mars
Right.
song or whatever, or a Drake song. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like it ain't still millions of people following. And I'm gonna let you get back to your point, but to make your point, me and you are big in the crypto market, but
Hmm.
only 1 to 3% of the world population is in it. Us
Yeah,
inside of it, we think everybody's in the crypto.
everybody's
Us
into
who
it.
are
Right.
investing in crypto, but the reality is it's not that many people
Still,
involved
it's
in it.
still such a small
It's a
number.
secondary market. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it
yeah,
seems
in the grand
huge
scheme
from
of
the
it.
inside.
Right.
And it is huge from the inside, to your
But
point of what you were making.
and that just makes you realize how vast the world is, and how
Hmm.
many things that you can get into that you can still find someone who will be willing to subscribe to it. And in the grand scheme of it, and like you say, in the primary market, it might be small, but that secondary market, especially to that individual or those collective of individuals who are doing a particular thing, that's a huge number. Like if I can get
Hmm.
100,000 people to want to buy my records or stream my records, that's a big number to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because just how would it will affect what it is that I'm doing, even as an independent. You know, you think about somebody who builds a business in a small, like not even in a small city, but in a city, you have you're not going to capture everybody in that city. So it could be a city of say 500,000 or to a million in population. You're not counting on all 500,000 or a million people to come in and out your store every day. You just need
Right.
a small number of it. You just need 5,000 of that 500,000 population to come through your store weekly. You know,
Right.
and it's the same concept when you get into something that's a niche market. You know,
Right.
somebody has a clothing store, somebody has a restaurant. I don't need the whole city, the whole
Yeah.
community to stop in
I don't have to
every
compete
single
with
day.
McDonald's.
No, if I
You know
can
what I'm
get
saying?
right. Just give me 500 people who live in this small community or who's willing to travel 30 minutes away, 20 minutes away
Hmm.
because they like what I have, or they might look me up because they're from out of town and they like what I got. And I'm getting 500, you know what I'm saying, patrons a day. That's all you need.
Yeah. That's it. I don't have to work at the same pace they work. And
Exactly.
I'm gonna be better off as an individual. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
might not make what they make, but as an
Yeah.
individual,
You remember
I'm
when
paid.
McDonald's
Like,
right? When McDonald's would have the sign billion customers served or whatever it was,
hmm
you know? And that's like make you believe that, oh man, McDonald's got a billion customers. I don't have a billion customers, or I can't reach a billion people, or
right,
get a billion people to come um, patronize my business. You
right.
don't
It
need
make you
it.
feel like that's the mark of success, but it's not.
Yeah, it's not the mark of
Yeah,
success. You can have 500 to be very successful.
right. You have to be able to set your own standards for yourself,
Mhm.
man, and what's success to you, and what is enough to be all right.
Yeah, just
You know.
keep those 500 coming back, and that's enough to sustain and build wealth on.
Hmm. Definitely true, man. Definitely true.
Yeah, man. So tell me about your cigar, man. Where you at with it? I know we
Uh,
got into it
Pretty much at
prematurely,
the
but
same place.
the same
Pretty much
place.
at the same place. You see
So
that
we got a
burn ain't
slow
all that,
burn.
but that ash is pretty nice though. But
What I'm gonna assume is since you're pretty much in the same place, got a slow burn, you're still getting
yeah,
the same notes.
yep, yeah.
so so there we go.
But
So
it mellowed out. It did mellow
okay,
out a
so
little
mellowed
bit.
out a little
Not
bit.
as
Right.
harsh. A little bit of pepper came through for a little bit, and then it kind of
Hmm.
backed off a little bit. And it's really mainly at that leathery
Hmm.
oak. I still want to keep using the word oily. Something it's got like
Hmm.
a I don't know, maybe
Okay.
oily leathery. I don't know, but yeah, don't that's still the same stuff that's coming through for me,
Yeah.
but
So
not as strong as initial.
this is where I'm at with my cigar. So same deal. my burn's not that fast, so I'm getting a good length of smoke on it. But then at the same time, like I was anticipating with you is with it burning slow, which means I'm not getting much transition yet either. So we're still
Right.
pretty much in the same place as we were before. So not
Yeah.
wild yet. I'm still waiting for the wow factor to hit me. I'm still waiting to see that 99. Haven't seen that
Right.
99 yet.
But props to him on the construction. You know what I'm saying? Because it's definitely burning slowly. You know what I'm saying? I give him
Yeah,
that.
I'm still getting that full body thick smoke. You know, a little
Yeah.
darker smoke than I would usually like. I usually like a lighter smoke, like more creamy smoke. So if you're
Yeah.
gonna give me a full smoke, I want it to be more creamy than that dark smoke. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what I feel like I'm getting. I feel like I'm getting more of a darker smoke, less creamy, like you said, more on an oily, leathery um texture.
So, man, I want to shift gears with you for a second.
Mhm.
This is random, but what you did was random. You reached out to me
Okay.
last night. Now, I never do show prep. Last
Mhm.
night, I'm doing show prep. I'm trying to do a little show prep with you. You know, and you like, hey, man, stop talking cigars for a second. I got some stuff to talk to you about with my family.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Lord, we got a family emergency. All right, man, forget the cigar shoot, man. What you got? And you start asking me stuff like Legends of the Hidden Temple or Guts,
Right,
Animaniacs
right.
or whoever,
Tiny Toons.
just a lot of old school. Oh yeah, Tiny Toons or Animaniacs. Just a lot of random old school cartoons, man. And I went through that thing with you, and then afterwards I thought about it. I'm like, that's what you interrupted the show prep for? No, we don't do show prep ever. Sorry
And you
guys, we
probably think,
freestyle these shows every single week. We go in
yeah,
like right before the show and be like, man, you got some topics? And every blue moon we have some.
yeah. And
The
and, and,
NBA
and
show,
last
top
night,
50 was a show prep.
yeah, last night you were show prep. I was like, hey, forget all this like cigar talk, man. I got some serious questions to pose to you real quick.
So going back to those questions you posed, interesting
Mhm.
enough, right? You bring up Animaniacs to me last night, and today I'm sorry, I drifted off. I think Amazon's bringing me a package. They're gonna walk right up on me and interrupt my show. But
Hey, man, got to get that Amazon
yeah,
up, man. It's important. That's an
that's
important part of
Amazon
life
right there.
now.
If y'all hear that sound, yeah, that's Amazon.
Hey, man,
Thank you.
Amazon is a part of life now,
So
man.
right. So anyway, you disrespectful. He didn't even bring me my package either. He just pulled off after making all the interruptions. So what I was saying was Animaniacs. So today I go to Hulu to find something for my kids to watch, some cartoons or something. And I
Mhm.
see Animaniacs. I'm like, okay, yeah, let me see. I'm gonna let my kids watch Animaniacs and see if they into it. And as they're playing, I notice a drone in the cartoon, and they call it a drone. And then they go into a song, and they say something about Amazon changed delivery and Uber controls the way we eat. And I said, Animaniacs is talking about drones and Uber and Amazon. What is going on? I
Yeah, I'm
stopped the
confused.
show. I'm super confused. I stopped the show and I go back to the main screen to look at it, and it says 2020. They have
Really?
redone Animaniacs, and they re-released it with Pinky and the Brain. So it's Animaniacs / Pinky and the Brain, and it's new
Wow.
school.
I had no clue.
I didn't either. So this brings me to what I wanted to ask you about, man. What's your thoughts on when they re-release these shows? Because they've been doing it a good little bit lately, man. The Wonder
Yeah.
Years has come back, and they got a black family in the Wonder
I,
Years,
you
and
know
they
what?
brought
Yeah, yeah,
back
yeah, yeah,
Full
yeah, yeah, yeah.
House and
They
some
did.
other
They
stuff.
did. I did see the Wonder Years, and I was thrown off by the fact that it was a black character. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was real interesting, and they would bring it back in that fashion too.
Right.
And you know what? I will say this. In a way, I like it, and in a way, I don't. Um, I kind of like the concept of them how they brought back Wonder Years, but brought it back just a little different. But I feel like
Mm-hmm.
they should have called it something else. You know what I'm saying? Maybe shifted the title, but kept the concept similar. And not call it Wonder Years, because what it does for me, I would assume that it would do this for anybody who was in that era and they have to relive the remakes, is we don't take to the remakes the same as we did before, or to the originals as we enjoyed before. Now, for the new generation, which I'm thinking that's who they're doing it for, to reintroduce a show or a concept to a new audience and try to capture a new audience, maybe for them that they'll enjoy it and not know what the original was like and have anything to compare
nothing
to.
to compare it to. Yeah.
Yeah. But for us who have something to compare it to, it's like, man, that certain nostalgia of a lot of the things that we enjoyed years ago, you can't recreate that, you know? Like I remember there was so much talks about like a Saved by the Bell reunion, and they, like you said, they brought back Full House with a lot of the original cast, but I never watched it. You know what I'm saying? I had no intention of watching it. Even heard Martin, like they were thinking about bringing Martin back, and I'm like, I might watch it, but of course it's not going to ring the same for me because like you can't capture that lightning in a bottle like you did before. Even though like I'd rather go back and watch the reruns and relive how I felt when I saw it for the first time, you know, watching the TGIF, or when I would come home from school and watch this episode and live through the moment. Like even if they bring like back some of the game shows, like I think I brought up like Legends of the Hidden Temple versus Guts and stuff like that. And even if they brought back Guts for the new generation kids now, it's not gonna be the same for me. You know, like how I used to get up. I think, well, I don't know how it was in America. I was in Japan at the time, but every Saturday Guts would come on. That's why that's when I would catch it. And it's like I couldn't wait to get up and watch it. You watch what was it, Inside Stuff, and then because we only had one channel in Japan at this time, right? So one American channel, I would say. All the other channels were Japanese. So NBA Inside Stuff, which they did bring back at one point, didn't they, with Grant Hill? And I don't know how it was the same, or if it was the same, or if it felt the same.
Wasn't as good. Sorry, Grant. Wasn't as good.
Yeah, Amar Rashad, he killed that whole joint. That was it for us back in the day. But the Guts would come on, and it was just something special for us back when I was a kid. But overall, for bringing back shows, I don't really care much for it, or bringing back old school stuff. But if you can bring it back in a way that it does capture a new audience and give them that same feeling that we had when we were younger, when we were kids, then I say go for it. But I feel like it should be done differently, because especially right now too, that if they brought back a show, say in the 90s, they brought back a show from the 70s, we didn't have the access to compare to anything. Nowadays, kids have access to see, or even like Full House.
Right.
Like Full House now, or the Full House that they brought back, or the Boy Meets World, Girl Meets World, or whatever they brought back. Now we have access to Hulu that has all these old shows.
Yeah,
that they will
find
watch.
all the old shows, the original. Yeah.
So now even the youth nowadays have something to compare these new shows, these new remakes to. Because my daughter, like I said, was 20 years old. We brought this up yesterday, and it brought up Fuller House, and even she was like, "Nah, I didn't like it. I like Full House better." I'm like, you weren't even alive or even thought of when Full House was out. I was a kid when that was out, and you don't even like the new version. And then I think Girl Meets World 2 was brought up, and she said the same thing. I'm like, you don't remember Boy Meets World? Boy Meets World was way off the air before you was even born. But even you have something to compare it to. You know what I'm saying? So
all we had was syndication, and all the shows didn't get syndicated back then.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point, man.
So to me, it's a matter of how they bring it back. Does it do justice for the new generation? I don't know. Honestly, I can say probably more so now not than it would have been back in the day, only because we can relive those old shows. You know what I'm saying? You can go back and watch the old Ninja Turtles and compare it to the new Ninja Turtles, or watch the new Teen Titans Go compared to the old Teen Titans Go, or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? You have access to so much to say, well, now that original, which is way better.
So let me ask you this: you say you think if you're going to do it, you need to do it in a manner where they revamp it totally, or they try
Oh,
to
yeah.
pick
Look,
up where it left off at.
I wouldn't even say pick up where it left off at. It's like I said, like that special moment, that nostalgia. Yeah, it'd be nice to try to relive it, but I don't think you can.
So
Like
you
I
mean
think
like,
once,
okay, so Martin as the example. If they bring Martin back, it needs to come back with Martin playing some side spinoff role, and no Gina, no
yeah,
Pam, no Tommy, none of them, just a whole new cast of
yeah,
characters.
like yeah, like you said the word spinoff. Like do a spinoff. Like I can appreciate a spinoff better than recreating an original. You know, like when say Different World was a spinoff of the Cosby Show. It
Right.
became its own thing, and it was able to
Yeah.
live in its own realm, even though it had a character and sometimes introduce a couple of the characters from the original show into
Right.
the new show. They would have a cameo here and there, but it was still its own thing. But it was related and tied to the older show. So bring back the older show in a new format and just kind of tie it together. That's how I would more so appreciate it.
Right. I can respect that, man. I can respect that. That makes sense. Spinoff would probably work better, man. I think I had the same feelings towards remaking these shows that I have towards
Mm-hmm.
sampling old songs. Stay away from the classics.
Hey
Stay
man,
away from them.
that's another
It's dangerous.
conversation in of itself. It is,
You
and that's
tightrope
something that
walking. You walking a tightrope at that point, man, and you're never gonna outdo these classics. Don't touch them. If it's a
hey,
song that's a classic, don't touch it because you can't do better than what it originally
you can't do
was. If
better.
it's a classic show,
Remember,
you tightrope walking. Get away from it.
remember we had a term back in the day, years ago. Nah, man, that song's
Mm-hmm.
unsamplable. Like it was
Yeah.
just songs that we felt like you just can't touch that song. There's all these other songs you can sample, but that song, don't touch that one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I do not want to hear anybody remake or sample Prince's Door. Don't do it. That's one of those songs to me that I say is not something that needs to be sampled, needs to be touched, messed with, altered in any kind of way. Honestly,
It was done perfect. It was done
and
perfectly. What else can you do to it?
And
Stay
I
away
don't know
from
if
it.
I don't know if I ever told you this. I don't know if I ever told you this. I don't know if we ever had a discussion about it. But to this day, and you know, I have a joy and affinity for so many artists, our classic artists from back in the day, from Stevie to Marvin and all those guys. But Prince's Adore, greatest song ever. Greatest song
No,
ever.
we never talked about that. We never talked about that.
Greatest song ever. R&B, jazz, hip hop, no matter what it is, man. You put on Prince's Door, that's it for me. That's for me greatest
Creme de
song
la creme.
ever. You know what I'm saying? Prince not my favorite artist ever. Get me wrong, not my favorite
Right.
artist ever. I appreciated his artistry. I appreciate his musicianship. It's like how great he was as a performer. All of those things, but by far not my favorite artist. As in his collective body. But that song,
Yeah.
my number one song ever.
Okay. I never heard you say that before. But all right,
Do
I'll throw
not
you
sample
one.
that
I didn't
song.
expect to hear
Do
that.
not sample
Wouldn't
that
it?
song.
You say what?
Said do not sample that song.
Right.
Anybody out there who's thinking about sampling it.
All right, I got one for you. I'm gonna throw a
What you
loop
got?
back at you since you threw one
What
at
you
me.
got?
And I know I doubt I ever said this. See, maybe I have, but I doubt it. To me, the greatest vocal performance I ever heard in a song was the Whitney Houston. What was the one from the Bodyguard?
Oh, the big one, the big song, right? The one she was.
Now I will always love you.
Oh, so it's a different song. Okay.
It's everybody always tries to re-sing it.
Mm.
I have nothing.
Oh, if I have nothing, if I don't have you,
Yeah, that one.
with all the runs. Gotcha.
Greatest vocal performance I ever heard in a song.
Think so.
Everybody try to re-sing it and never does better than Whitney. And I
Oh,
always
yeah.
think to myself, why do people keep trying to perform this? Can't follow her up on this song. Like
Yeah.
I heard some people do good jobs, never better.
Certain singers,
Stay away from the
certain
song, man.
yeah. certain singers you should not try to imitate. She's one of them. She's definitely one of them.
Yeah, man. Stay clear of that Whitney Houston song, man. That I have
Be
nothing, man.
clear.
People just don't perform it right, man. It's just a waste, man. And it's the same thing with these shows, man. Like whoever is the executives that's approving these shows, man, give up on it. It ain't working. Like
Right.
ain't nobody done a better job of them, man. Just come up with some new ideas, man. Stop trying to bring it back
Yeah.
because these
And
actors,
that's one thing.
they're not gonna be
Mhm.
the character the way these other people were. Like they're just not. Like every once in a while,
Yeah.
you can get lucky with these movies. It's different with the movies. Okay, you
I
got
was
lucky
I was
with
gonna ask about
Batman.
that next. Hmm.
Yeah, you got lucky with Batman. You probably can get lucky with some other movies because they have a lot of time to figure out the
Well,
parts. You got months. You got high quality actors you bringing in to do this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And you're
well,
paying them
see, see,
millions on
see,
top
see,
of
see.
millions.
This is what I say is different. When you mentioned Batman, though, Batman is a
Mm-hmm.
movie that you can be doing. You can do 100 years from now, 200 years from now, and redo it differently in so many different ways, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
wait, like a Marvel movie or a DC comic movie, those can be recreated. You can always recreate those kind of movies. You saw when they brought Mortal Kombat back, like there's different, like there's so
Yeah.
many different ways you can bring it back, and you can still no, but still you can still fine tune those. But like say a Coming
Right,
to
right.
America, that kind of sequel or recreation is well, those are the type of movies that you can't really touch. You know, even
Why is that?
Friday, it's just
Comedy? Is
like
it
like
is it
like you
because of the
said.
comedy part of it?
No. It's not even because of the comedy. It's when you have a certain movie that has a certain aura about it, you can't recreate that pop in a moment, right? Like Spider-Man, you can always do Spider-Man 100 million times. You can always do Batman 100 million times. Up the graphics, up a scenario, bring in this person, bring it like all the crazy little things you can do with writing a script for Batman is different, right?
But
Because you're not
Boomerang, you just in trouble because it just is what it
you
is
don't
with that.
recreate yeah, you don't recreate Boomerang. You don't recreate Coming to America.
That's
You, even though you have Friday, next Friday, Friday after next, and they was hoping to do a
those
last
are
Friday.
sequels with the
Friday.
same people though. They still had
Yeah.
magic at the
But
time when they
say
was working on those.
if they never did another Friday after the first Friday, you don't come back and do Friday again and expect for it to be the same feeling you got when you watched Friday back in '95.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
just can't relive that moment.
You got a
Same.
window to catch it, and if you don't get it within that window, back off
Yeah,
of it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like that moment was just a special moment in certain movies and certain TV shows and certain eras. It's you just can't recreate that buzz and that feeling of that moment. It was lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
We always want to try to bring back the old and try to relive that nostalgia stuff. But certain things is you just got to go back and watch the original of it to enjoy what it was. You know, can't really bring it back in my opinion.
You know what? Another part of that is, I think a lot of times they don't realize a lot of these stuff shows and movies go on to be cult classics, and they
Hmm.
might not do they might not do the be the draw at the box office initially,
Hmm.
and then they don't realize what they got until people fall in love with it 10, 20 years later, and
Years
it's
later,
still
yeah,
a name. Yeah, and then you like, wow, I didn't realize that people love this like that, man. We can still make some money off of this, but it's
hmm,
too late. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Let's go make a new
Like
one.
it exceeded expectations way too late.
Yeah, and then the idea of recreating is expired by that point.
Right.
You know, and I think it becomes more so about money than it actually becomes about the genuineness of the moment of creating that art. Like the art part, and I
Right.
think that's what I see more so in a lot of these sequels or bringing something back and trying to relive and revitalize something. Is more so about creating something that's going to generate revenue than it
Right.
becomes about something that's just great art.
Then to maintain legacy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so okay. So basically to make sure I'm clear on your point of view is action, horror, things that really are based around a form of action can always come back because you can always up the action through
Hmm.
CGI and graphics and
Yeah,
all the technology stuff. But
like
when
like
it's
like like
based on
like
an
like
actual script, it's
it's almost
different.
Halloween. Yeah, it's almost Halloween time. And then they bring back a new Jason or something like that. Is there a new Jason or Mike? It's one of them horror
Yeah, yeah.
movies. I
One
think
of
they're
the
bringing
horror
back
movies came back, and
I
you
think
can
they're
bring a
bringing back
horror movie
a
back.
Scream too. Yeah, I think they're bringing a Scream back too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
But like movies like that, yeah, you could always bring back. You can always redo it because it's like you're not leaning on characters that you fell in love with, in a
right.
sense, and the way they were and their mannerisms and the way they inflected a certain thing. Like if you ask Chris Tucker to come back and do Smokey again, it's not going to be the same. And then you can't really like I remember they were talking about with the Last Friday is maybe having DC Youngfly play Smokey's son or something like that. And even if he did it, it's not going to resonate the same. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to feel the
Yeah,
same way about that character as you did. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to look at when Tiny Lister was still alive. If he did it, you're not going to look at Debo the same as you did 25 years ago. You know, it's just those type of
yeah.
things. But Batman, you can always regenerate Batman in a different kind of
Right.
light, right? You might not have the same actor playing Batman as, of course, we've seen over the years. You've had what 10 different Batmans. I'm
Yeah.
fudging the numbers a little bit, but you can always just recreate the scenarios and create that recreate the action and make it different, you know.
Right.
But with certain
So,
characters,
okay,
like, mhm.
I'll throw one at you then. What's one of the old school movies that you wouldn't mind see coming back and them redoing now that technology's better and everything else? I'll throw one at you right off
Mm.
top of my head. I'll say Jaws. I wouldn't mind seeing Jaws come back and get
Ooh,
remade.
yeah. I'm trying to think they
Or
did one.
would it not be scary now though? You know what I'm saying? That we
I
because
think
people have elevated beyond being afraid of a crazy shark in the ocean.
shark,
You know what
right?
I'm saying? But it might be good though.
But you know
Like
what? I think there's a way you can go about it and do it to where it, you know what I'm saying, like the graphics and the scenario of it is just a little different. You know,
yeah,
you can bring it to life a little bit differently. Okay, our
yeah,
ideas change. We're not, freaked out by the same things we were freaked out back in the 80s. But,
yeah,
there's a way you can do it to where, you know, like say if you brought back, remember Incredible Hulk, Incredible Hulk back in the day from the 80s,
yeah.
right? You won't like it
Right,
when I'm angry.
right.
You can redo it. You can redo those type of episodes, but just you can do it differently to where what I'm saying. It's not the same kind of Hulk guy from back in the day, but you can redo how that
How
character
they got him now?
is, how we look at
Yeah,
him now. Yeah.
yeah.
So I
Okay,
wouldn't
so
look at say so like based on the Avengers movies or the you do a Hulk movie or a Hulk TV show and you do it in that light versus how you did it. You know what I'm saying? They did it
in the
years
'80s.
ago. You know, it will be received differently.
Yeah.
Just don't try to do it like that, like how they did it back in the day.
So what about a Cujo? Could Cujo come back?
Uh,
Rabies dog
probably
trapping
not.
people in the car? All right.
Probably,
You know what I think could
probably
come back?
not. What's that?
I think Misery could come back.
Misery. I don't know what that is.
Kathy Bates was the crazy woman who trapped that author in a cabin
Hmm.
and beating him. You don't remember? You don't
I
remember
don't remember
Misery?
that. I don't remember that. I might have to go back and look that up.
Okay,
But
man. Yeah,
but
yeah,
just based off the premise of what I'm saying, the movie, you can do that again,
yeah. I think you could do
and you
that
can
one
even
again.
call it the same
What
thing.
else?
You can even call it the same thing and do it. I mean, there's been plenty of movies that's been redone, even with the same exact title. Just relived differently. Like even matter of fact, what's it? Guess who's coming to dinner? You remember that movie
Yeah,
from
yeah,
way back in the day, and then Bernie Mac redid it with guess who?
yeah,
Yeah, what's the name of the movie?
yeah. Guess it. Guess it.
Um,
Yeah.
and they did it differently, kind of flipped and reversed a little bit. Because I think guess who's coming to dinner with Sidney Poitier? You know what I'm saying? Black man coming to a white family, and you brought
Right.
Ashton Kutcher coming to a black family. That was clever. I
Right.
like the way they did that. And I think Chris Rock has done a couple of those movies too, where he's brought back an old uh scenario and redone it differently, and it worked out well. You know,
Yeah.
those things are different. But it's like when you try to recreate, like, and I think time also has something to do with it. Have enough generations pass through to where it's not that very. And I think with this generation, or not this generation, but I think recently we've tried to relive the previous generation, and that previous
Yeah.
generation is still here. Like it's not enough generations have gone by that they're bringing these things back to where it's like it's too new, too fresh. You know, you got to have at
Right.
least two generations removed before you bring something back.
That's true.
So I think that's
Wonder why.
another factor.
Wonder why they ain't brought ET back as big as that was.
You said why they haven't?
Yeah.
You know what?
ET is one of the top grossing movies of all time. Like, and nobody's
Yeah,
ever tried to
and
touch it to bring it back.
I think they can probably do it very well now too. You know, that's a good
Great right
idea.
now.
You might want to pitch that one.
They not gonna
Go
pay
ahead.
me.
Hey, Steven, what you think about bringing this back?
ET should come
Carlos,
back, man.
Carlos
It's
Spielberg back, man.
yeah, man. You know,
Tell
Spielberg's
him to
name
bring that
was
one
on
back.
the Animaniacs today. They brought them when they brought
So,
that back. I saw his name
you
was
know
the
what?
executive
He
producer.
was on that. He was an executive producer on that
Yeah,
back in the day. I do remember seeing that.
yeah.
Hey, maybe he's back in the business of trying to make some money. But you know what? That's a good
Selling his
idea
old
because
stuff.
I think they can do a really good job with that, bringing it back with the new technology capabilities that we have, you know, and do a real dope version of it, you know. Like even when they brought back, I mean, Planet of the Apes is another one they brought back and did it completely
They did
different
a good
from
job with that.
I mean, maybe. Well,
Yeah,
actually, you know what? I didn't mind the Mark Wahlberg version of it. I watched
I like it.
I never. I never seen it in the moment when it came out, but I watched it after the newer versions of the Planet of the Apes came out. And I went back and I watched that one. It wasn't bad. It wasn't
Yeah, I
bad.
didn't mind it.
I remember hearing bad reviews about it, but after I watched, it, I was like, it's not that bad. It's not bad. But like the way
You
they
know what
did
it
Planet
is?
of the Apes was completely different too.
Well, sometimes some movies. This is the thing that they movie critics do, man. Some movie critics are critical of like little technical stuff in a movie, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't take away from the enjoyment value of it. You know what I'm saying? That's why you get a Friday, and Friday gets a 1-star rating because
Yeah.
all the technical stuff of a movie is not good in terms of that, but entertainment
It's a
wise,
classic.
it's very entertaining. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
that's why I think that's why like the Planet of the Apes got a bad rap when they redid it because it was such a classic, and maybe some of the script wasn't perfect or anything like that. But in terms of
Mm-hmm.
sit back just enjoying it, it's
Doing the
like
movie,
okay,
yeah, it
man, I
was pretty
still was able
good.
to. It
I
was
liked it.
the yeah. So I'm not one of them snobs when it comes to stuff like that. Where I'm like,
Right.
well, the script was missing a part here that didn't transition well here. You
Yeah,
know, it's like whatever,
that didn't
man. Did
make
I
sense from
enjoy
where
it?
the old one left off at. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care about that, man. What's the update on that? On that 99 rating you got there?
Man, you know, while we were talking, I was having a thought about it that this cigar has not shifted or changed. I have not gotten any, you know, and I like to pride myself on being able to pick up certain notes, right? And
Yeah.
having a palate that is diverse as far as recognizing, you know, textures and flavors and things like that. I haven't got anything else new. It's been almost the exact same from the first light. Nothing started off too harsh. What I got from the first puff is what I still have now, and here we are, well into the second third, and nothing has shifted at all. It's the same. I will give them a nod to consistency, you know. So I guess if this is
How much
what you
work
like,
is that? All right,
just be
y'all, we got to
consistent.
leave, man. Just make the whole thing like that.
Just keep all the way through. You know what I'm saying? But no, like I guess if that's
Hey, did you
if
get on the
you
front?
love
All right, rock that the whole
the whole
time.
way
That's what we
through,
want.
and I would say that if that's what you love in a cigar, that's what this Ghurka cigar is going to give you. And maybe like we talked about, and you know, it's funny what we talked about in this particular podcast, in a particular episode, and then we're smoking Ghurka, and then getting the I guess the review of this particular cigar. I don't know if yours is still the same as well, but we talked about, hey, feed to your niche. Like if you got a community of people who love what it is that you do, stick with it. And maybe that's what Gurka decided. Hey, this is what we do. This is what
Yeah.
we found works for us. And maybe there's a community of Gurkha lovers who love Gurkha and they love what they get out of it. Um, because it's definitely is consistent. Like nothing's gotten spicy, nothing's gotten um too crazy smooth. I've got nothing else other than what I got from the first puff.
I've had a couple little here and there, something would kind of change, but it was
Hmm.
so sporadic and random. Like it wasn't even like a good transition, man. It was kind of like,
Mm.
but it hasn't been like way on the opposite end of the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, a little peppery popped in for a period of time. Right now, the oak is coming a little stronger than that leatheriness was.
Hmm.
I've had the oiliness that was kind of popping in and out. My smoke really got real full again all of a sudden after it smoothed out, but it's almost as random as a variety pack of chips or something. Like it ain't like it's set up in an order or like, how normally it's the first third, second third, and the last third, and they shift throughout that process. It's
Yeah,
just each third is just random. Like I don't
something
know.
random.
And
Yeah.
yeah, man, I enjoy the bamboo a lot more, man. The bamboo's been the star of the show for me so far.
The bamboo saved it for you, right?
Yeah, man, but it once again, it hasn't been drastic changes. It's a little more oak coming through now.
Okay.
Oak
Okay.
wood coming through more so than leather, but the leather's still there. It's lingering around. Like you say, I think Gurkha has found their niche. If you like smoking leather, come see us. We got you. And that's what it is, man. This little man on the front of the right there, he's got that salt. He got that little dagger in his hand. He's ready to go slice some leather
It's
and
like
stick it in his tobacco. Yeah,
that's
man.
exactly how it happened, right? Hey, look. So I wanted to
Yeah.
point something out. So as I'm looking at the band of this Gurkha, right, it has a lot of writing, lot of
Mm-hmm.
writing, and I've never
Definitely.
seen this much writing on a cigar band ever, right? So it
Right.
has the blend strength, 97.6 blend strength, authentic mark of honor, right? I'm gonna read what it says real quick. It says, let me peel this band back just a little bit so I can read it. All right, so truly balanced to please the aficionado who is searching for a draw of perfection. Aged oak aroma will soothe the environment and gain praise. 15 years of aged tobacco and dedication has given us another masterpiece to which only the elite blend master of K Hansocia, I guess that's the blend headquarters that they can create. So with what I just read there, feels like a lot of forced opinion,
Yeah.
which is what I guess what you have to do in a position of advertising. So like if I was a brand new smoker, novice smoker, and I'm going through a line of cigars and I pick this one up and I read that, that's gonna be something that's gonna make me pick up a cigar and say, man, that's really intricate. Let me try that cigar. I've never seen any cigar go so far out of its way to ramp up their
Compensate.
brand. I guess compensate to say, hey, look,
Yeah.
my cigar is a great cigar. Smoke my cigar. And I think that's what Gurkha did on this. I don't think it lives up to the description on the band.
All right. So let's do this then. We've gone about an hour and some change. Let's go ahead
Mhm.
and give the final thoughts then, man. This is a good time because I don't want to have to continue to smoke this Gurkha. So
Oh man,
so we'll go ahead and
you,
wind the
you
show down for that reason alone.
sounds like Jared's ready to put his cigar to bed.
I kinda am.
All right, so here we go, man. So there's 99 rated cigar, and I'm gonna try not to keep the rating and the whole description thing to a point of something that's gonna influence my decision on the rating, because you when you rate something that high and you don't perform up to standard, I'm gonna my initial reaction is to knock you way down low and give you a 1. But I'm not gonna do that with this cigar. I'm not gonna give it a 1, but I'm definitely not gonna give it a 5. Um, in honor of consistency of saying, okay, you constructed your cigar very well. I'll put just construction. It is very, very well constructed. I would give it a good nod towards that, right? A nice, good, full smoke. I give it a nod towards that. And basing it, and what's really gonna affect my rating is flavor, and that is what becomes the more, I guess, subjective part. Everything else is good with the cigar, right? Very well packaged, very well constructed. Nice slow burn, and I give it nods for that. But based on my preference, as far as the flavor, looking for those transitions and things that I look for personally in a cigar, I'm going to give it a 2.5.
All right. And based off of the same criteria you gave, they get a 2 from me. Well constructed cigar. You know what I'm saying? Well constructed cigar. It burned nice and slow. Got a good burn. Got a good amount of smoke. Like it wasn't the creamy smoke I prefer, but I can't hold my preference against them as far as that goes entirely because I kind of knew what I was getting into.
Right.
But I give them points off of that.
Right.
But once it gives, you know what I'm saying? That all of that stuff, those are compliments I'm giving. I give them that's part of you getting a 2. And then the rest of the inconsistency of the of the flavors, man. First of all, flavors I didn't enjoy, and then inconsistency of
inconsistency with it, So it's like you throw me out of a flavor, I'm thinking something's gonna change, something's gonna shift, and then you throw me right back into that flavor. So that's pretty much what you're getting. It's like, man, I thought I was done with this, and here we go again, going back through this rodeo.
Yep, exactly. It's exactly that. So yeah, you get a 2 from me, Ghurka. But mine wasn't rated that high anyway, as far as the 99, I didn't actually find the official rating from like aficionado or a company of that nature, but just checking the reviews that the people were giving, which to me can mean even more than a big brand, because I don't I don't know where that rating comes from with the brand. I know a lot. I know relationships can affect stuff like that.
Did you buy your rating?
Did you buy your rating? You know what I'm saying? Not saying that aficionado dirty, but stuff can happen in business. So the people was giving it like 3.5 and 4 stars, the one I smoked. So people liked it better than I did. I give you 2.
And was it? And were
maybe 2.3, maybe 2.3 if I want to be kind to you. You know what I'm saying?
Notch them up a little bit.
Yeah, but I won't go over 2.3.
That's why I'm giving a 2.5. Like, it wasn't a cigar that says, "Man, I got to put this out right now." Like, you ready to put yours to bed? And I'm like, I can continue to smoke my cigar, but I'm not going to continue to smoke my cigar because I'm completely enjoying the cigar. I'm going to smoke the cigar because I want to honor the cigar. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be disrespectful to the cigar. I got a cigar. I'm smoking it. But if I had an abundance of cigars and say, I'm gonna put this down, let me go pick up a Liga, or let me go pick up an Oliva, let me go pick up my father's or something like that. I'm gonna put this down and go smoke something I like. But if it's all I have in my bag or in my humidor or in my travel case and I gotta smoke it, I'll smoke it.
Well, for me, I finished this because we was doing a show. But I'm gonna be honest with you, if we weren't doing the podcast and we were just at the house here and we were grilling in the backyard and I smoked this, I would have put it out after the first third and went to the humidor and grabbed another. But I continued to go as long as I did, just based off of giving it a fair shot. We're doing the show and we only do one cigar show. But otherwise I'd have laid it down, let it die out, flipped them and grabbed another one.
Pick up something else. Man.
Yeah.
So there you have it, Ghurka.
A little more.
Fellow aficionados, brothers of the leaf, sisters of the leaf.
Crest is what I had. Yeah.
This is
Crest. And what was yours again?
This is the The 15 years, the age 15 years, Cellar Reserve.
The Cellar Reserve. 2.5 for the Cellar Reserve and 2 and a possible 2.3 if I'm being super polite for the Crest. This is the Ghurka episode, and it probably won't be another Ghurka episode for a few more years. So, Cohiba episode coming next week. We got to cleanse our palates.
Cleanse the palate. Come right with the drink. I might have to grab my brandy for the next one. So look forward to me sipping on that for the next episode, and we'll load up the Cohibas. You know, I don't know if we're gonna do it next week. We're gonna do it next week. So next episode,
we'll aim for it. We'll aim for it. You know what I'm saying? But don't hold us to it. You know what I'm saying? Don't hold us to it. If it ain't next week, it'll be sometime within the month. You know, more than likely in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So
definitely got to clean the palate up. What we just smoked today. We got to rebound, man. We got to rebound. And you know what? I might smoke another cigar later this evening, just so I can have a balance. You know, I usually only smoke one. I usually only grab one cigar any day that I usually smoke. You know, just off the time. If I had more time to smoke more than one cigar, I definitely would. But today I might make the effort to light up another one and take a few minutes to puff something I like.
Hey man, final words. Is the Ghurka hate warranted, or is the lack of support that they get amongst some shops warranted?
Man, I hate to do this. I hate to say this. Being somebody,
you don't have to give a definitive answer if you don't want to, though.
No, I'm gonna give a definitive answer, and that's why I say I hate it, because I'm gonna give a definitive answer. It's warranted. You know, if I was a brand new cigar smoker and you handed me this Ghurka, I wouldn't be a cigar smoker today. And I hate to say that. You know, I hate to be that harsh on the cigar brand. I hate to be that harsh on the cigar. You know, it's not as bad to me as Brickhouse. Definitely not as good as Perdermo. You know, we had our balance with those two. Brickhouse being my bottom shelf cigar, and then Perdermo being somebody who almost teetered that line with me. I wouldn't even put it above Perdermo, but I wouldn't put it below Brickhouse. But if I was somebody and I was smoking cigars for the first time, and this was the cigar that I would pick up for the first time, I would not continue to be a cigar smoker. I would be one and done.
Yeah. Well, there you have it.
Hard on
Hey man, I'm not mad at that assessment. I'm not. I don't know, man. I'm just not a fan, man. I tried to give it all the fair shot I could today. I stuck it out even when I didn't want to. I'm not a fan. I'm not gonna say it's terrible and it's for nobody, but it definitely ain't for me and those who have palates like me. You know, so
exactly.
That's as light as I'll put it, and we'll leave it at that note for Ghurka. You know, good.
All right.
Good luck in your future endeavors, Ghurka. But so anyway, man, we appreciate
our relationship here.
Yeah, we breaking up for a little bit. You know, maybe we'll become friends down the line. You know, but we need a little time apart.
And I will be fair with this. And say that I will keep my eyes peeled for any new production of Ghurka, and be willing to give them a shot.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'll never smoke another one again, but I'm just not in a rush. It's gonna be enough. It's gonna be a while before I revisit.
And you know what? Honestly, it kind of makes me more aware, and I probably would be more aware of any new production. Like I'm not big on watching for new production. Like if I happen to see it, I see it. Or if I happen to go to my humidor and one of the guys working in the cigar shop say, "Hey, this is a brand new cigar from this line. You should try it." I'll try it. But it kind of makes me want to be more proactive as far as paying attention to what Ghurka's doing. Like it's kind of making me more intrigued now, because based on what we know and what we've seen and what we heard and how it's received, you know, it's like, how does a brand stick around this long and not really live up to where we're seeing that it probably should be? And it makes me want to pay attention to Ghurka a little bit more. You know, not saying I'm going to patronize the brand as much, or I'm going to pick up every cigar that I see from Ghurka, but it makes me want to pay attention. Okay, are they having new production? What's going on with their production? how are they
Right.
constructing their cigars? So it has sparked that interest in me. So I will say that, on a more positive note towards
Somebody,
Ghurka.
I would have to definitely sit down with a fan of the brand or somebody who makes statements like this is the Rolls Royce or Bentley of cigars, and they would have to explain that to me.
Explain,
So
please explain it to me. Like, and
I
that's
would
what
need
I'm
that
saying. Like,
explained.
look.
I've been
Before we
around
get
too
off this
long
thing,
to not know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly. And you know what? And then going off of that, reading what I read on the band, smoking what we smoke, and seeing what we've seen today, like, are you really trying to buy your way into the cigar culture? Are you really trying to
right,
convince people to smoke your brand? Like, really, what is Gurkha really doing here? Because we're seeing 99 ratings. We're seeing what I just read off the band today. We're seeing Rolls Royce of cigars, Bentley of cigars, premium level cigars. But we're not getting that from the cigars. So are we not proper cigars? Like is our palate not what? Like what's
yeah,
going on with Gurkha? Like it's really raising the question to me. Like, are you buying
right,
your ratings? Are you buying your advertisements? Are you really trying to push it and convince people that your cigar is a great cigar? And the cigar culture and those who are in the cigar culture, are we seeing through it? And we're saying, no,
right,
we demand you step yourself up, not just beat yourself up in words and convince me that what you're doing is great.
right. Yeah, I agree, man. It's like people have these art and they say, "Oh man, this art is so amazing," and it looked like a 3-year-old just splashed paint all over the
Right. Yeah.
canvas. And you tell me this is fantastic art, and my eyes say, "I don't. This is horse crap." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean this is great art? Like, that's how I feel about the Gurkha. Maybe it's that, like, it's paint splashed on a canvas so beautifully that snobs say this is fantastic, but you can't convince me, man. I've been in the game too long, man. Like,
I've
like,
had way too many great cigars to say this is premium.
yeah, yeah. Just the same way I feel like I have eyes and that painting isn't special, but I'm not a snob. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm a big cigar smoker. You're a big cigar smoker. I wouldn't say that we're snobs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So maybe the snobs, have an appreciation for something that I don't, but
Could be.
nah, it's not. It's not. I'm having a hard time being convinced. I trust us at this point. You know what I'm
At this
saying?
point, yeah.
We got a
I'm with
lot of
you
years in this.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
Definitely with you on that. There you have it, guys. That's the Gurkha episode.
yeah. This is it. This was the Gurkha episode. We'll revisit Gurkha at episode 111. This is episode 11. So, just kidding, man.
We're gonna need some
Maybe
time.
not.
We're gonna need
Yeah, we're
some
gonna
time.
need some time.
All right, man. So, hey, you ready to wrap this up?
Yeah, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in to this episode, man. This is the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. We'll see you next Monday.